What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is David Hanlon, aka the Laptop Legend, and today, day trading, I made 1,550 bucks. And it was a little better than yesterday. I guess yesterday was a weekend, so duh, it was better than yesterday. Yesterday I made $0 day trading. I'm talking about Friday, it was better than Friday. But overall, you know, I think it's really still heating up. And there's a lot of OTC stocks that are actually making some moves. We had multiple stocks that were over 100% today in OTC land, multiple tradable stocks with liquidity, with good fills, and honestly, it's exciting to see because as that continues, once I get my buying power at E-Trade, it's going to be juicy. Again, that should be by next Monday, so I'm excited to see what happens, but you know, today I'm gonna go over the recaps of the trades that I made and then talk about the stocks that I'm gonna watch tomorrow to hopefully make you know, several $1,000s. Let's see if I can break that 2K mark, man. I want to do it. If not, I guess I'm stuck bouncing around between 1 and 2K, but we'll see what happens. I'm very excited for tomorrow because this market is still juicy like a big old steak that you just want to just like that. And yeah, all right, I'm gonna stop making weird noises now. Let's start on my computer so you guys can see what stocks I'm talking about. All right, guys, so I'm gonna start off with a few Nasdaq stocks because I feel like I always start with OTCs and I want to, you know, make sure I'm catering to both crowds. So you can see here, VXRT. This stock is one that was fading off nice all day long, and I didn't really see it until around here, and I said it would be a good short when it cracks this ascending support line right here. And pretty much, you know, as soon as it did that, it was an easy short, man. Every single time it tried to bounce, it just continued failing. I can zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see that there, but it held a pretty nice, you know, ascending support line. I probably could have drawn that a little bit better, but you guys get the idea. You know, I guess, you know, let me just put it in here so you can see a little bit better. All right, so there you go. And as soon as it cracked that, it was a beautiful short. Just kept fading off down, and I missed the entry here, and by the time I saw it here, I didn't really want to chase, and ended up underestimating how far it would go down. But you can see in after hours, it got some news about some COVID vaccine results, and it's just skyrocketing in after hours, guys. Complete recovery of all the gains that it lost today, pretty much. I mean, it closed where? Right here? So yeah, I mean, it literally recovered like all those gains right back into the high $10 area. So I'm excited to see what this one does tomorrow. Definitely going to be interesting. If you look at the overall chart here, 5-day, 15-minute chart, you can see this was the high out of this run, and it's come a long way. I mean, it really has come a long way. It was down as low as, you know, 480s, I guess. And this is a former, I don't want to say supernova, but this thing went pretty hard, man. I mean, from 5 up to 25, that's 5x in just, yeah, I don't know, a couple of weeks. So pretty interesting chart here. This definitely has room to run, especially if it can break out past this level, or I would say, you know, past this level of pre-market highs right here. So keep that in mind. Definitely keep an eye on this one in pre-market tomorrow if you're into trading those Nasdaq stocks. BTX. This is one that did not die, absolutely refused to die, and wow. Just keeps going, guys. The stock that never ever gave up, and I don't even know what to say about this one. I really don't. It came all the way back up. It never ended up breaking these highs here in pre-market, but it's still holding these gains really well, guys. So I really don't know what this stock is going to bring. Honestly, at this point, I can't see justifying any type of long on this stock. I really can't unless you get a really nice dip and the perfect setup, because the risk is so high here of multiple things. You know, it can dump huge on you in 1 second, but the biggest risk, in my opinion, is that this could have an offering that absolutely crushes the stock price. And this thing could see a huge red day. I mean, this thing could go from 80 to 30 in one red day if they do a big offering, and you know, there's just shorts all over this thing. So I'd be really careful longing it at this point on the chart. Honestly, I think most of the potential from the long side is pretty gone. Maybe it rips through this high here and breaks 100, but man, it's just so overextended. I feel like the risk reward is all messed up here, and this is where I feel like discipline comes in, and you just got to be really careful because this thing has come from, guys, 350. 350 all the way up to 80 bucks. No way, man. I can't chase up here. I can't chase up here. OCGN was actually doing pretty well. OCGN was still doing well today. Had a nice little breakout past these levels, breakout past these levels. So now the only high this thing needs to break is right here, still running. That's the one that is on watch. And this thing, honestly, I guess it's selling off a little bit in after hours now that I look at it. So we'll have to see. Again, it did hold this important support level right here. So got something in my eye. Got some dust. Ooh, All right, we're good, guys. We're good, no worries. So as long as it holds this support level, I think it could be pretty interesting, continue to rip through these highs. Again, I'm not really a big fan of Nasdaqs because they're too choppy for the way that I like to trade, but this is definitely an interesting chart, and I think if you are into Nasdaqs, it's one that's going to have a lot of opportunity. Let's see what else. There were a couple other Nasdaqs. PRPO, this is one that was up over 100% today. PRPO, this is one, I guess it's still squeezing after hours, man. That is absolutely nuts. This thing closed right at the high of day, and it's still squeezing after hours. So this thing could potentially be a multi-day runner, or it could just fade all day tomorrow. I mean, it closed up 171% on the day, so my goodness. I mean, lots of opportunity here. If it continues running, the key area I would say to look out for is this high here right at $8. 8, literally just 8 flat, 8 psychological mark. And look at all the volume today. Oh my goodness, already a lot more volume than on this day right here. But we'll have to see what happens. Maybe it's just a fade, but with the market getting stronger, guys, this could definitely continue. So watching pre-market, this is one that you want to keep your eye on if you're into Nasdaqs. I mean, this thing literally just pretty much went up all day long. Pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. And this is the type of chart, you know, you get these breakout areas where it starts wedging, and once it picks a direction, you know, that's a pretty good sign of where you should get in. So if it did this during the day, you know, that would be a pretty decent pattern that you like to see for when you want to choose a direction. You know, if it breaks down under this, that's a sign you want to go short, and if it starts breaking out, it's a good sign that you probably want to go long there. So let's see what else. Is there anything else? I don't want to miss anything. I guess RHE had another green day today, which was actually pretty impressive. It had a second green day and pretty much topped out right here where this first one failed. So that was the important resistance level, again, where it failed that day back on December 28th when I traded it. I say that every single video, but I'm not going to stop. I will not stop. I'll say till the day I die. And you can see in after hours, ooh, it's getting ugly. It's getting ugly. So I feel like this thing probably just has an all-day fader tomorrow. So I don't expect this to be in play for anything but a short. But, you know, it could surprise us. It could definitely surprise us and come back on up. So we'll see what happens. But again, you know, these key resistance levels, guys, if I extend this chart, you can see extend to the right. As soon as it broke through that resistance level, I mean, it was pretty much off the races. And it did the same type of thing. You know, it has this increasing support line on the base. Pretty clear there, and it was a little bit decreasing, you know, right here. Had some lower highs, I guess, if you come into this area. So it's kind of like a little wedge, and it bounces back and forth between. And when it finally decides to break out, you know, that's a pretty good time to go longing this stock. So if you buy right as it does that, I mean, you're positive the entire time. You know, it never goes under this area. So pretty cool, and I'm impressed by how much this one ran. Personally, I really am. So those are all the Nasdaqs that I feel like are worth looking at. Those are the main big ones that you guys want to keep an eye on. In terms of the favorite OTC stocks that I have, so let's see what happened with SOAN. This one had the conference coming up, but today, you know, it got pretty ugly. So maybe this was the consolidation day it needs. Definitely watch for break above these highs, because going into the conference, I think it's coming soon. I think it could definitely get interesting. This thing could definitely get over 10 and definitely see a big old spike, man. This thing could definitely see a big old spike. The one that I think made the most money on today was ICBU. And this stock was beautiful, guys. This stock was absolutely beautiful. I made money longing this, and I made money shorting this. And this is one of those ones that is a former runner. So if I go back to this chart, you can see how high this thing ran. I mean, it ran from 0.00. I mean, so many stocks came from 0.0001. It's nuts. I mean, what happened in the OTCs in like February and March? I mean, I feel like it's unprecedented, man. I don't know that that's ever happened where so many stocks come from 0.0001 and just rip. They rip, man. It's crazy. All the way up to 4 cents. So this one had a huge breakout day, and it was a nice breakout. Felt incredibly strong here, just kept going higher and higher. I did take some paper cuts on the short side into this area because I felt like it was topping out, and then it kept ripping higher, but I did catch some nice shorts here, and you know, all in this area. And then finally when it broke down through the 3 area, I accidentally got into a boxed position, and then they ran out of shares to short, which was pretty stupid because there was a lot more downside, and I would have made probably another $1,000 on this stock shorting it. But here's the thing, guys. Here's what I discovered today. So if you ever have issues at Schwab with box positions, hear me and hear me well. Here is one way that they tend to happen. So the way they happened to me twice today, and I'm actually stuck in a box position overnight, the way that they happen is when you buy a stock after you've shorted it. And let me explain what I mean. So say I wanted to short 25,000 shares. And this actually happened to me on one stock. So say I want to short 25,000 shares. I put in a 25,000 share limit short order, but I only get filled 15,000 shares. So 10,000 of the shares that I wanted, that I typed in, I didn't get filled. And then the price moves away. Okay, so I cancel that order. All right. But next time I go to place an order, it still says 25,000 because that's the amount that I had typed in to place my previous order. So when I'm going to buy to cover that short position, if you don't accidentally, I mean, if you aren't focused, if you aren't paying attention, you might accidentally buy 25,000 shares as if you had shorted 25,000 shares. But since you're only short 15,000 shares, you end up buying 25,000 shares. The net there is you end up completely covering your short position, but also going long 10,000 shares. Okay, what's the big deal? You're long 10,000 shares, right? Well, here's the thing. When you go to sell those shares, Schwab glitches out and it puts you in a box position where even though you hit sell, it ends up shorting 10,000 shares and keeping your long position. So now you're short 10,000 and long 10,000 shares. And you can't trade that stock anymore because it says you're long and you can't short it when you're long, but you can't sell it because you don't have any position. So that's what happens, and you got to be careful with that. So make sure whenever you're buying to cover that you always click that little box that says close out your position, because that will prevent you from making this type of mistake, at least in this specific way. I think you can get boxed in other ways, but this was the main way. So this stock, man, probably just fades tomorrow, if I had to guess, honestly, but it did hold up this support pretty nice. It did hold it up pretty... Come on, line. I'm trying to draw you. It did hold up pretty nice. It broke down under a little bit, but, I would say for the most part, it pretty much held up. So maybe it held up enough to keep running, guys. I have no idea. I'm just going to keep this on my watch list because there is room both for dip buys, for breakouts, and for shorts. So, my goodness, I love to see stocks like this moving again. The more stocks like this we have, the more money you and I will make. So, gotta love it. Gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. Let's see what else. So this is actually the big boss, man. This is the one that went pretty crazy, guys. VMCS, Visual Med Clinical Solutions. And this one, my goodness, yesterday alone it was at 0.0061. And today it hit a high of 495. So, I mean, it's almost up, what is it, 800% in 2 days? That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Today, it was just skipping up, man. It was just skipping up. And this is a stock where it is so insanely thinly traded that you buy and you think you're chasing, and then suddenly it's 30% above where you bought it after like 3 other people buy. But stocks that are like that, they come crashing back down just as hard. So you got to be really, really careful when you chase stuff like this. I ended up chasing, I think I chased it like 430 and it ended up going way higher. And then I tried to sell, and I tried to lock in my gains before there was even selling, and it didn't sell, and it ended up coming back down. I took a little bit of a loss on that chase, but I mean overall I made some really good money, especially dip buying on this stock, because if you're patient and you nail the entries on the dip buys, this thing will literally skip up immediately. People who are buying market get absolutely screwed over because it just jumps up, man. If one seller moves out of the way, suddenly it goes from 4 to 4.4. That's a 10% jump because one seller moved. It's so thinly traded. But because of that, there's a lot of room to profit if you are patient and you nail your entries. I think I made a lot of money on this one as well as this one, guys. So there's definitely room to profit. And you got to be ready and you got to be prepared. I'm still hearing a lot of whisperings about this one. The run might not be over, man. It might not be over. I mean, still holding this support line. So we'll see what happens. Again, this is just one I want to put on your radar so that if it continues to run, you guys will be prepared. You guys will be prepared. Speaking of ones like that, BPSR, this is just a perfect example, guys, of why you don't hold stocks that are up 1,000% in 2 days. This is just a perfect example of that. And look at this. I mean, straight up, straight back down. So a lot of people were saying, man, oh, it's going straight up. And okay, it did go straight up. But here's the thing. Now, it's more than 50% down from the highs. It went down as low as 23 cents off a high of 63 cents. That's down 40 cents a share. It just pains my soul that there's newbies who are buying at the top because they hear people saying it's going to some arbitrary price target after it's up 1,000%, and then they end up holding and not cutting their losses, thinking that it has to bounce somewhere. It doesn't have to bounce somewhere, man. I mean, it'll bounce eventually, but like I said, probably back under 30, and here we are. So, I mean, if you wanted to swing this thing long term, right here is definitely a better place to do it. I'll grant you that. It's definitely a better place to do it right here. But it could definitely go lower, guys. I mean, there's nothing to stop this thing from going back to, 13, 12 cents, in my opinion. Maybe it has a nice bounce day tomorrow, gets back up to 40 cents or something like that. I have no idea. And if so, I'll be trying to play it because this is another one that really likes to skip up. Unfortunately, this BPSR, this one has a lot worse fills than the other one, VMCS. This one actually had pretty darn good fills, especially for a stock this thinly traded. So I'm a big fan of VMCS. I definitely like that one and would continue to trade it in the future, honestly. So big fan of that stock. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, guys. I mean, GVSI, just fading off, but still impossibly choppy. Horrible stock. I don't like this at all, how this one trades. Just awful stock. GGII, this had a misprint here. And again, to remove misprints, guys, literally you right click. Oh, wait, no, that's on Schwab. Never mind. I'm not sure. Maybe there's some way to do that on TD Ameritrade as well. But you see how this messes up the chart? It's really annoying. So if you can, yeah, I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can edit tick data here. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, guys. If any of you guys are watching this and you know how to edit tick data, like on Schwab, I can literally say the low here was not 1 cent, it was 2.8 cents, and then this chart wouldn't be messed up like this. So I'm not sure. This had some nice dip buys. I nailed, I think, this dip buy, and then I might have... There was one in here that I nailed. There was one that I missed. I forget, guys. I was trading a lot towards the end of the day. But this, it had a nice dip buy. Anytime you see big red candles like this, you always want to try to take a stab at it. This, has some opportunities. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. ILUS had some type of tweet. It might have been like right here when it ended up spiking up, and then it just died off of that. Pretty whack. Had a lot of selling off here. Decent dip buy in the morning. OZSC looked like it was gapping up, but then really didn't do much. Just not a whole lot of range. I mean, you can flip it. You definitely can flip it. Or if you catch a crack, it's nice occasionally to short it or dip buy it when you see too much of a dip there. AITX, same type of idea. I shorted this for the break of 10. Had a little mini sell-off there. So just a few ideas. And then Humble, not really doing too much. Just kind of fading down and choppy, but you still can flip this thing. They just didn't have shares to short on Schwab, so wasn't able to do that. HTZGQ, I guess this is one that you guys want to have on your radar. This one, this is Hertz, the bankrupt car company. The Q is, bankruptcy, and for whatever reason, they just had, I think, a new update for their bankruptcy plan that would actually be better for current shareholders, and because of that, they had a beautiful chart today, absolutely beautiful, insane run up. And they closed right near high day, so expecting a gap up from this one. Maybe it keeps running tomorrow. Who knows? I think it could see a really nice panic dip buy at some point, and that's probably the main thing I'll be looking for on this one if I can get it. But it does use up a lot of buying power, so it's going to have to be a nice big old panic because I don't want to waste buying power, especially if I'm going to have to just cut right away. If I buy 1,000 shares where I only make $10 per penny, that costs $3,000. So if I think it can move 5 cents or something, 10 cents, I want to make $100. That's a $3,000 investment. That's not really that great versus stocks like VMCS where there's a whole lot more volatility, and with an $800 position, I can easily make $100. So pretty cool that there's this many stocks moving, guys. Don't know what this one's gonna do. Don't know what anyone's gonna do, but I'm here to react to them. I'm here to see what they do and make my decisions based off of that. And as always, I call that out in my the Discord down in the description. We had a lot of new people join today, so welcome. If you guys are watching this video and you made it to the end, welcome to all the new people. Exciting to see some new faces in there. And yeah, let's keep killing it. Let's make May a great month. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, you know the drill. Let's grow better together. And also, don't mind the creepy dancer after this. Bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú por mí sientes.